Hi, coloring friends. Welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. I had a little bit of a break. It was not a planned break, but it was just the way things went with my end of last year. I had the typical holiday stress going on and a few other things, and then I ended up getting sick. I apologize if my voice sounds annoying and sick. I'm still getting over it a little bit, but I figured I'm gonna jump right in and get going on this new year. I am going to talk in this video about last year I did a video with 10 coloring resolutions for the new year. Now, this year I decided to scale it down just a bit. While I'm still fully on board and following the resolutions that I made last year, I think they're wonderful to follow every year. This year I have five specific goals that I'm wanting to work on in my coloring life. So I thought I would color a little bit on this page that I've been working on. It kind of ties into one of my resolutions or goals, however you want to say it. But this is a page that I started from Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. It's my first page I'm working on this book. And so I'm just going to pull in a little close. Well, you know what? I'm going to actually stay out this distance. I hope that's okay. But I'm going to do some explaining and moving things in and out. So I kind of want to keep I don't want to be going in and out and in and out the whole video. So we'll keep it here and see how that goes. Um, and I am going to dive right into the first goal that I have for the year. And my first goal is I need to get my bearings on what colors I was using. It's been a while since I've been working with this page and I've lost track, which ties perfectly into my first coloring goal, which is whip management. So as much as I try, as hard as I try, I tend to create whips. And I don't like having whips. Um, but you know, sometimes you move on to different projects. Sometimes you just lose your groove with the page and need to move on to a new something else till you get your inspiration back or whatever. Whatever the case may be, I end up with whips and I don't love it, but it's a matter of fact that it happens and I don't deal with it well. So when I have a whip, much like this book, it was stuck in a pile, and these pencils that I was using specifically for this page were stuffed in there. I have one here with these pencils in it. Let's see, I'm trying to see if there's even two spots. Nope. I have one, excuse me, I'm sorry. I have one here with these pencils stuck in it. And it's getting to the point where I have pencil sets all over the place that are missing pencils because they're all stuck in books somewhere. So, my coloring goal for the new year regarding whip management is I plan on having a little laminated just note sheet that I can keep tucked in my planner. And it is going to have on it just a line for any page that I have started as a whip, and then right below it, a little like note area where I can jot down specifically what type of pencil and colors I was using on the page. And then those pencils can go right back in the case that they came out of, and I will pull them out again when I'm ready to tackle that whip. I'm going to laminate it because I want to make it I'm going to use a dry erase marker uh, on the page, and then as I complete whips, then I can wipe them away and then add another whip when it comes along. Um, So that's the plan. Actually, I'm not going to use dry erase marker. I'm actually going to use Sharpie on it, and then to wipe it away, I will color over with color over it with dry erase marker, and then start again because I don't want the dry erase to be wiping away in my planner. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use that little trick. So I don't know if anybody would be interested in seeing that process, getting that set up, but I've got a I've got a lot to go through and add to it for sure. So it's gonna, but overall, it's a fairly simple idea, I think. But it would be a quick video if I did show that process. I don't know, we'll see. But if anybody is interested in seeing me get that all organized and put together and on a list, let me know. So that's number one, whip management. That is a big one because this just is not organized and not fun because I pick up a book and then pencils go flying and then I'm wanting to use a certain pencil from a set and I can't find where it is. And yeah, it has to stop. We're gonna do better this year. So that is number one. Number two is swatch. So I am really bad at swatching my new stuff. And I have a bunch of things that are just completely not swatched. I have a good handful that I started swatching and just abandoned because I feel like it's a little boring. um, I'd rather be coloring with the pencils than just making little marks with them on a page. Um, but realistically, it's nice to have the pencils swatched and see what colors you have to work with and all of that. So I really want to get all my supplies that I have swatched this year. So that is goal number two. Which again, that's another one that's going to take a little bit of time. Just buckle down and get yourself organized, but then afterwards, the payoff is going to be huge. So that is number two for the year. And then we have number three. Number three is another good one. Is use what I have. So I think I'm feeling it from I had my birthday in November and then Christmas, of course, right afterwards in our house. And um, I got a lot of new things, and I've got a lot of supplies, and um, I just want to make sure that I'm using all of it and not just getting more things and more things. So one of the steps I've already taken to do that is I canceled my Coloring Heaven magazine subscription, which I was sad to do, but it needed to be done just because, again, I want to start limiting what I'm bringing in, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to get anything all year. That's just too, I know that's not going to happen. It's not realistic. Um, but like in canceling the Coloring Heaven subscription, that way I am not just getting something every month. If I want to get something, the current issue they have out, then I can order that. But it just allows me to be a little more selective with what I'm bringing in, and that I think will be a good thing. And then the other thing is, my goal is, my mindset is that when I start getting a craving for a new coloring book, that first I'm gonna go and shop my shelves, and the same thing goes with like a new set of pencils. I'm gonna go shop what I've got and see if there's a supply that I haven't touched in a while that would feel new to me, and pull that out and use it or color in it depending on what it is. And then see if that resolves that craving of wanting something new and different. Um, the other thing I'm going to do in that respect is, and it's going to be hard, is I tend to, whenever there's a popular new book coming out or a new set of pencils, and, there's a lot of buzz about it on YouTube and other social media. Um, I'm going to try to steer away from it a little bit, which is hard to do. Because that's part of the fun of this, is getting excited about all the new things with other people and kind of sharing in that. I just realized I forgot to color the center of this one yellow. Now I need to go find the yellows I used again. I know they were in the Brutfuner set, so I can track that down, but oh goodness. See, this is what I'm saying. Anyway, so yeah, so part of the fun of, the hobby is kind of celebrating or enjoying all the new things and seeing what other people are coming up with and everything. But it does kind of cultivate a mindset of then wanting those things for yourself. Um, and I'm just trying to be a little more mindful this year. So unless it's something that I mean, of course, there's certain things like if Johanna Basford came out with a new book, I'm gonna want to check it out. I might make it as a treat. If I do something in my everyday life, then I can treat myself at the end of the month with that book or something. But just try to be a little more mindful. We'll see how it goes. You may still see haul videos, and please don't hold it against me if you do. Um, but like I said, first and foremost, the thought process is going to be to shop what I have first before I go running out getting new things. So that's the main spirit of this one. Not I can't buy any new things, but just be more mindful and enjoying the things that I have. All right, so that was a long explanation for number 3. Um, let's see. So number 4, oh, this is another big one, and man, if you guys could see the space I'm sitting in, I'm sure some people wouldn't want to see the space I'm sitting in, because it is, I mean, this area that I'm coloring here is like what I have right now. The rest of the room is just a wall of mess stuff around me that needs to be dealt with big time. So I had bookshelves in here, and I had all my books, just books to read on them. And then I had my coloring books on those bookshelves too, which is part of the issue. But we decided to make a little corner of the basement sort of a reading nook, and then put my shelves down there. We kind of did a whole rearrange of the basement and flipped where the living area is. And then that kind of took away my daughter's crafting area down there. So the idea was that we would, got a little messy there. The idea was that we would take I have a little office that I'm in right now. It's small, but it's just an office, so that's nice. Um, but the idea was that we would take this office and make it usable for my daughter as well, so she could, because she's very artsy. She likes to do lots of projects, and just make it so that she has a space to work in here too, and that we have better storage for all the crafty stuff. And so anyway, we moved those bookshelves out, so that there would be room for that. I also have a sewing machine, and I apologize for my dog barking. I have a sewing machine and all the things that come with that kind of crafting. So, um, yeah, we've got a lot to organize in here. And right now, my coloring books are mostly out, stacked around, because I took them off of the bookshelves because I want them to stay in this room. So, my plan is at some point during this year, we need to do a little more saving, but get to the point where I can kind of do a remake of my craft room. And I'd like to do a little series on my channel of the transformation, because it should be a good one. It's pretty bad right now. Um, and it won't be anything terribly fancy or expensive. It's definitely going to be on a budget. That's part of the motivation for shopping what I already own instead of buying new things, is because I want to save up for storage and paint and stuff to redo my office. So yeah, that is number 4, is organize my space. Um, it's going to feel really, really good once we get there. And I think this is probably going to be a summer, I would say, by summer. But certainly by the end of this year would be a big goal of mine. Okay, and then we are up to number 5, the last one. And let's see. So the last one, I can't even remember now. Oh, this is okay. So the last one, last year I did 10 books to complete in 2022. I did a video on it, and I am going to do a wrap up video of kind of where I ended up with my goal. But I kind of ended up saying throughout the whole year, I know this is unrealistic. I know this is unrealistic. And by the end, I thought, well, why did I make a goal and set myself up to, if I knew from the beginning that this was not realistic to achieve, um, while it did have a good motivating factor for me to work in those specific books, it was still kind of a bummer at the end of the year knowing that I didn't complete those 10 books. I'm just very goal motivated or oriented. I don't know. Um, but not getting that goal, no matter how much I tell myself it wasn't realistic and it was okay and just for fun, it still felt a little bit like failing. So, rather than set myself up for such a huge unattainable goal this year, my idea is to pick 2 books that I'd like to get finished. Now, I have one that's going to be a carryover from last year, and then I have not really thought about what I want the other one to be yet, but I want it to be achievable, and I want to be able to say at the end of the year, I finished these books. Um, so I do plan on doing a video with books I'd like to focus on in 2023, but it won't be the same spirit. So I'll talk about more specifics on that in another video. But that's the idea, is that I just want to make that goal. I'd love to finish books. It's a good feeling. I did finish books this past year. Um, I just don't want to have a goal that's so hard to reach that I'm not going to be able to do it. So I'd like by the end of the year to look back at my list of goals and be able to say I did that. Um, So yeah, it's just tapering down the idea from last year and making it a little more attainable, which hopefully works. Um, so that's all 5. I did tack on one little bonus goal, and that is, and I think I had a similar resolution last year. It was at least in the same spirit. Um, so my bonus goal is to try to get into at least one or maybe even 2 of the books that really challenge and scare me, that I've been too chicken to jump into. um, so, for example, I've never completed a page in a Kirby Rosanis book. Um, this past year, I did complete a page in one of the, oh goodness, what are they called? One of the mythographic books, which was a big step for me to do. Um, but I'd like to do more of that. I talked about it in my Christmas books video. I have a heavily grayscaled Christmas book that I've been to chicken, and I got some good tips from viewers on how to attack that, and I want to do it. So, um, yeah, I have a handful of books that are major intimidating to me, and I'd like to push myself to just go for it in those this year. So that is my bonus resolution, is just basically just give it a try and see what happens. Um, Hopefully that will allow me to grow a little bit too. And yeah, so that is my 5 plus 1 bonus resolutions for the year. I think that I really wanted to make them manageable, to make it, something that I can see that I did by the end of the year. And I think that if I get some of those things in place, like for example, the swatching, if I get that done, that's done. And, hopefully it becomes a habit. And once I get new supplies, um, I just automatically do the swatching with them. Um, that's the hope, at least. So, yeah, hopefully that'll make it a good, productive coloring year, make things a little more organized and less stressful for me, because when your things are all nice and organized, they're certainly easier to use. So, I'm curious if any of you have made resolutions, um, coloring or otherwise. I did also do non-coloring goals for the year too, but I tried to keep it sort of in the same spirit as these, where it's just these are ways that I'm hoping to make some changes that will better myself and make life a little more enjoyable. So, but I know personally I approach it as they are goals. They're things that I'm going to try to keep in mind, to keep working toward. But if if I don't get them, that's okay too. All right, now I'm just rambling on, and I'm going to go ahead and finish up here. I hope it wasn't too boring watching me just color blue flowers this whole time, but I wanted to share my goals. And yeah, let me know if you have any goals, especially if they're anything different from from what I've mentioned. I'd love to hear because I'm sure I could tack them onto my own too. Um, but at any rate, I hope you're having a wonderful day and a good start to your new year. And I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.